Welcome back everyone to more NASCAR Heat 3 coverage here at Knee Pit Gaming. Today is going to be a short video about a recent update announcement that 704 Games announced actually just last night. And first and foremost, for those of you who are on the Xbox One, you already should have this update, or maybe your Xbox is still in the process of updating. But either way, the Xbox One version of this patch has already been released. For those of us who are either playing on the PC or PS4, we're going to have to wait a little bit later into the week, although they don't give any specifics. It just mentions that later this week on the PC and then sometime next week on the PS4. So for those of you on the PS4, you're going to have to wait a little bit longer than the rest of us. I'm playing on the PC Steam version, so I am very much looking forward to this patch based on some of the things that we're going to take a quick look at below. The first thing that I noticed is, for those of you who cannot imagine playing in a NASCAR game without Dale Jr., he's now going to be added to the Xfinity Series roster, so you'll be able to race as him or against him on that particular roster. So that's a big addition, I know, for some folks. Next up, we've got improved force feedback for the steering wheels. Now, that's a very general, vague statement, so I'm not sure exactly what that's going to mean, but it does give me hope that they are paying attention to those of us who use a steering wheel and looking to improve our experience. Same thing with the option right below. They're going to give an option to enable the centering spring on the steering wheels for those of you who are playing on the console versions. So that, in addition to the line right above it, could certainly help out for those of us on steering wheels, particularly if you're playing on a console. The next thing that caught my eye was the skid sounds that they're going to add while driving on dirt. Now, my hope is that these skid sounds don't make it sound like we're driving around on asphalt and ruin the experience, but it is nice that they're paying more attention to the sounds. The sounds are really key to helping you get feedback from the car. Since we're not actually driving a car, we need all the help visually and through the audio, as well as through the steering wheel, through that force feedback, to give us feedback on what the car is doing. And the next line is actually the one that is most intriguing to me, and that is, in career mode, they've added an option to sim races. Now, this could potentially be huge because normally in the career mode, from my experience anyway, I haven't gotten really deep into the NASCAR Heat 3 career mode, but in general, I was assuming that I was just going to have to run one series at a time, not because I wouldn't have the option to run others, because you have the option to run all of the series simultaneously if you want, but I didn't want to have to run all the races in each of the series. So in other words, by the time you get to the Cup Series, there are some Xfinity races that I would love to run. Things like trying to run for the triple at Bristol, or certain achievements like that I would like to do, but I don't want to run all the races in Xfinity and trucks year after year. So if this is going to give us an option, which it sounds like it is, to simulate some of these races, then that opens up a lot of possibilities in the career mode, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing how that works out. For those of you who are on the Xbox One, and if you've had a chance to check out exactly how this option to simulate races works, let us know in the comment section below, because I'm very intrigued by the prospect of simulating some of these races so that I can run all of the series but not have to run every race in each series. They've also added some additional career mode options. You can see several tweaks to the career mode. Now, you can also choose the paint scheme when driving someone else's car. So not only can you adjust the paint scheme at any time on the car you're driving if you own your own team, but if you're driving for another car, you can also have some options there as well. Then we get to two very intriguing entries here, which might not mean very much, but also might be laying the groundwork for some future options. For those of you who have a lot of experience in the NASCAR Heat 3 version of the career mode, you know that if you are starting your own team, you don't have the option to choose the manufacturer. Right now, you're just stuck with Toyota, and you don't have any option to change that if you would prefer a different manufacturer. Well, the fact that they're adding a manufacturer display to both the sponsor cards and then adding a description to the agent recap at least gives me an idea that they've heard some feedback about, not having any options related to manufacturers. So maybe they're laying the groundwork for some future updates. I can only hope, because it is always nice to be able to choose the manufacturer of the car that you're going to be able to run. Also, we're going to be able to access the car paint kit for custom cars. The career mode was a little bit different in painting your car than as opposed to if you just went through the quick race function and did it that way. So it sounds like they're going to bring those closer together. Also, going down just a little bit, if you make the playoffs, you're going to earn an invite to a team in the next league. Now, I assume by the way that's worded, it's for those who run all of the hot seat offers, but maybe weren't successful in any of them. And so now this is going to make sure that if you can make the playoffs, then the hot seat offers won't hold you back from being able to advance on in the career. At least that's the way it sounds like it's worded there. So making the playoffs could be a big step if you plan on moving up to the next division without owning your own team. Okay, it also mentions tuning adjustments. Now that is, again, very vague. Same thing with performance improvements and fixed crashes. They're not really specific about any of these particular things. So it'll be interesting to see how many people are able to notice a difference either in reduced number of crashes and performance improvements. But those are always welcome. Anytime they can bug fix in the game, we are certainly appreciative of that. You can see more issues have been addressed in the car editor and character editor screen where some people were getting some crashes. Also, I have seen several people commenting about not being able to do the stages correctly at the Roval. Sounds like they've gotten that taken care of. And then a couple of issues here seem to be addressed with the AI, specifically the pitting behavior at some of the tracks, and then it just says various improvements. Hopefully that is making them faster on some of these tracks, or actually most of the tracks. All right, and then of course you get all the way down to the bottom and it says other fixes and improvements, because probably somebody started to have their hands cramp up from all this typing, and so they just said, yeah, we fixed a bunch of other stuff that I don't have time to lay out for you. So there you have it. There is a list of what is going to be included in the very first patch for NASCAR Heat 3. Thank you very much for joining me, and stay tuned for more NASCAR Heat 3 coverage here at Knee Pit Gaming.